New research links 5G radiation to brain changes in rats, connecting the dots with U.S. studies on ADHD and autism. Recent research from Russian scientists at Tomsk State University has brought new attention to the potential health effects of 5G wireless radiation. Their study found that controlled exposure to 5G radio frequency electromagnetic fields resulted in changes to the brain tissue of laboratory rats. This finding adds to a growing body of international research raising concerns about the impact of wireless radiation on neurological development and function. In this blog post, we will explore the TSU study and connect it with related research conducted in the United States, including studies from Yale University on attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and Dr. Martin Pall's work on autism. These studies collectively underscore the urgent need for more comprehensive research into the long-term health effects of wireless radiation exposure. Key findings. Objective: to investigate the effects of non-ionizing 5G radiation on rodents of different ages. Methodology: male Wistar rats were exposed to 5G RF EMF frequencies for 5 weeks, equivalent to approximately 4 human years. Age groups: rats corresponding to human adolescents, 5 to 6 weeks old, adults age 40 and up, 10 to 11 weeks old, and seniors age 65 and older, 17 to 18 weeks old. Results: no outward behavioral changes were observed between exposed rats and the control group. Detailed examination revealed significant changes in the ratio of antioxidants and oxidants in the brain tissue of exposed rats. Implications: the alterations in antioxidant and oxidant levels suggest oxidative stress in the brain, which can lead to cellular damage. While the study did not determine whether these changes are beneficial or detrimental to cognitive abilities, oxidative stress is generally associated with negative health outcomes, including neurodegenerative diseases. Calls for further research. Lead researcher Natalia Krivova emphasized the need for additional studies to understand the long-term consequences of these findings, particularly on cognitive functions and potential compensatory mechanisms within the body. Connecting with U.S. research on ADHD, the Yale University study. In 2012, researchers at Yale University School of Medicine, led by Dr. Hugh S. Taylor, conducted a study examining the effects of prenatal cell phone radiation exposure on the neurodevelopment of mice. Key findings. Methodology: pregnant mice were exposed to radiation from an active cell phone positioned above their cage throughout gestation. Results: offspring exhibited behavioral hyperactivity and decreased memory capacity. The behavioral changes were attributed to altered development of neurons in the prefrontal cortex, a brain region associated with executive functions and impulse control. The study suggested a potential link between prenatal exposure to cell phone radiation and the development of ADHD-like symptoms. Dr. Taylor noted that these findings might have relevance for humans given the similarities in neurodevelopmental processes. This research is among the first to demonstrate a causal relationship between in utero exposure to electromagnetic fields and behavioral disorders in offspring, highlighting concerns about the safety of wireless device usage during pregnancy. Dr. Martin Pall, Professor Emeritus of Biochemistry and Basic Medical Sciences at Washington State University, has extensively researched the biological effects of electromagnetic fields, proposing mechanisms by which EMF exposure could contribute to various health issues, including autism spectrum disorder. All right, let's dive into some key concepts. Voltage-gated calcium channels, or VGCCs, are quite essential here. Pall's research suggests that electromagnetic fields, or EMFs, activate VGCCs in cell membranes, leading to increased intracellular calcium levels. Now, this elevated calcium can produce excessive nitric oxide and superoxide, forming peroxynitrite, which is a pretty potent oxidant. And oxidative stress and inflammation resulting from VGCC activation may disrupt normal neurodevelopmental processes, potentially contributing to autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. Moving on to supporting evidence, Pall points to epidemiological data showing increased autism prevalence in areas with higher EMF exposure. It's quite compelling. Plus, research indicates that EMF exposure can alter brain development and function in animal models, which really supports the plausibility of his proposed mechanisms. Finally, Dr. Pall advocates for stricter regulatory standards and public health policies to reduce EMF exposure, especially among pregnant women and children. It's a call to action that we can't ignore. Synthesizing the findings, a convergence of concerns, common threads, oxidative stress. Both the Russian study and Pall's research highlight oxidative stress as a key factor in EMF-induced biological effects. Neurodevelopmental disruption. The Yale study and Pall's work suggest that EMF exposure can interfere with normal brain development, leading to behavioral and cognitive disorders. Vulnerability of the young. All studies emphasize that younger organisms, whether fetal mice, adolescent rats, or human children, are more susceptible to the potential adverse effects of EMFs. Implications for public health. Need for precautionary measures. Given the potential risks, adopting precautionary principles in the use of wireless technology, especially around vulnerable populations, is prudent. Regulatory reassessment. Current safety guidelines may need to be reevaluated in light of emerging evidence linking EMF exposure to neurological changes. Further research. There is a critical need for comprehensive long-term studies to fully understand the health implications of chronic EMF exposure in humans. Conclusion. The recent findings from Russian scientists add to a growing body of international research indicating that exposure to wireless radiation may have significant biological effects on the brain. When connected with studies from Yale University and the work of Dr. Martin Pall, a concerning picture emerges regarding the potential impact of EMFs on neurological development and function. About RF Safe. At RF Safe, we are committed to raising awareness about the potential health risks associated with EMF exposure and providing practical solutions to reduce these risks. Our mission is to educate the public, advocate for responsible technology use, and promote research that safeguards public health. For more information, contact John Coates at phone 727-610-1188, website www.rfsafe.com.